I don't know. Like, I'm old. I'm not going to complain about being old, but I'm starting to realize that, like, I'm 51. I'm a 51-year-old man, twice divorced. I have no children, and I live with 2 cats. And it's fucking amazing. That's right. That's right. I'm winning. I'm the winner. For years, I used to think, like, why can't I manage a relationship? Why can't I have a marriage? Why don't I have a normal life of any kind? Why can't I just be a regular person? But now I'm starting to think, like, I think I dodged a few bullets. I'm starting to realize that. And all it takes is one conversation with a friend of mine that went the other way. He's got the wife and the kids and everything else. One conversation for me to know that I'm okay. Have you ever had that conversation where you don't know if the guy is talking to you or trying to convince himself that he's made the right decisions with his wife? It takes nothing to provoke these conversations. I could not have seen a guy in like 3 years and I'd be like, hey man, how you doing? It's been a while. How are the kids? It's fucking hard right now, man. It's bad. It's bad. I can't handle it. I want them out of the house, but they're 7 and 4, and that's just not the right way to be thinking. But I love them a lot. They're great kids, but it's fucking awful. It's awful. I mean, one of them's smart. The other one seems to have the thing with his hands. He's okay. But I just want out, man. I want out. But I love him. I love him a lot. Well, it's sort of a confusing sort of message you're giving me. Is there everything okay with your wife? Can't look her in the eye at all. Can't even maintain eye contact with her. Most of the time, I want her dead or I want to be dead. It's fucking awful. But I'm blessed. I mean, I'm really blessed. Because she's a great woman and we've been through a lot together, but god damn it. You know where I can get a boat? I think if I had a boat, then I could just go and change my identity somehow, but I miss my wife, so that'd be kind of crazy, but god, I want out, man. Like, wow, that doesn't sound great. It's still kind of confusing. You okay with money? I have no money. Where am I gonna have money? I have a wife and 2 kids. Where does money come into that? I think about faking my own death all the time just so they can have the insurance money and I can have my freedom. I'm serious. Do you know where I can get a boat? I'm not kidding about the boat. But I miss my family and I like eating dinner with them, but god, I just want to leave. How you doing, Mark? I'm great. This conversation's been great for me. It's been very, very helpful, actually. And I feel okay. I mean, it's a little weird sometimes. I'm lonely, but I've got the cats, but you know, I'm okay. And then the guy always goes like, well, I really appreciate you being my friend, you know, and hearing me out, because I can't talk this stuff about a lot of people, to a lot of people, and I love you, man. I'm like, well, I love you too, man. Good luck with everything. And I know that fucker goes home, and the second he sees his wife says, ran into Maron, still sad and alone. It's him and those damn cats. When's that guy gonna get it together, right? I told him how great we were doing, baby. Judas. Yeah, you know, I got the cats. Yeah, it's kind of getting hard to sell the whole, like, you know, 51-year-old dude with 2 cats as being, you know, an endearing thing. You know, it's a fine line between, aw, and I don't know. Yeah, I have weird moments with my cats. Yeah, I guess I can share them, I don't know. Maron's gonna struggle for a minute or two. Try to figure out whether or not he'll share this information like it's some big secret. Seen him do this 3 times. I wonder what he's gonna do. More later. All right, well, one time I was on the bed with Monkey and LaFonda. And this came out of my mouth out loud. I said, I guess it's just us now, you guys. That's kind of sad. It's a real moment, though. Said this to Monkey out loud the other day, not long ago anyways. I said, you're getting old, buddy. Look at you, you're like an old cat. You're all old and shit. And you don't think that affects cats. You don't think that they register that kind of thing. But 2 days later, Monkey shit on my carpet while maintaining eye contact with me. Nothing you can do when a cat's doing that. Just go like, okay, that's happening? And they're like, yes, it is, I'm doing it. And then I thought, like, is this about the comment I made? It is, right? And he didn't say anything, but you project. And then he tried to bury his shit on the carpet, which I thought was spiteful. And I did feel it was personal. But it wasn't, they're just dumb cats. They're just stupid animals. It's hard for a cat owner to admit this kind of thing. It wasn't personal. He just had some sort of brain skid and thought he was outside and shit on what he thought was grass. It was the carpet. But we project all kinds of shit onto cats because we're cat people. And like, you don't want to believe they're just dumb animals. You're like, not mine, he's genius. He's like a mystical wizard who understands everything. My cat is. It's genius. No, I don't think so. But it happens to me all the time. Like, I'll just see Monkey laying on the bed, just looking out at nothing. And I'll be like, I wonder what he's thinking about. Probably Egypt. No. No, he's just like, light. Ooh, is that a bug? Nope. Okay. Nap time. And I used to think my cats were fucked up. I used to think that my cats were like crazy because they were wild when I found them, and that I always had that excuse in my head for why my cats were so skittish and weird. But now I'm starting to think it's me. I'm starting to think it's me. I'm the reason. Like, they're just cats. Like, you've been with me now for what, 10 minutes? Imagine if you were a cat. I'm not the optimal owner of a cat. My cats go through a horrible experience almost daily. I mean, it's not unusual for me to wake up and within 5 minutes go, God damn it, what's happening today? And I have to assume a cat's like, well, we were just sleeping. What could be the problem already? We were all just sleeping, what's going on? And then I'll say, like, you guys want to eat or what? Why is it a question? What's going on? Oh no, he's playing guitar. I'm going under the bed. I'm going under the bed, can't take this shit today. And they become really friendly now with strangers, which they never were. And I really think they want out. Like, they just jump on strangers' laps. I can barely get them on my lap, but I think they're like, please take us, take us. I don't know how we got this guy, but it's exhausting. It's exhausting. I don't like when people say, your cats are like your children. No, they're not. Not unless my children are severely mentally challenged. They're not like children. Cats are not children. They're never going to surprise you with a word. They're not going to win a sports trophy ever. They're just like, a cat is what it is when you get it, give or take a few movements and slower or faster, but that's it. Maybe if you have a certain kind of cat once or twice in a lifetime, you'll say, like, how'd you get up there? You know, and then you'd be like, I knew you were a genius. But like that, if that was my child, that'd be horrible. If that was the proudest moment, like, what are you doing on top of the refrigerator, son? That's unbelievable. You just got up there by yourself at 7 years old? That's amazing. We didn't think you were gonna do anything, ever. God forbid I become like that kind of cat parent where I'm just like standing over Monkey going, say daddy, come on, say it. That's what he meant, he said it. I would hope anybody who witnessed that would say, we gotta get you outside, man, this is sad. Too much time at the zoo here. Time to socialize.
I'm not saying I'm ugly, like I hate when female comedians are like, I'm ugly, I'm garbage, you know, it's like, I'm just saying that, like, when I get super dolled up, like, the best I can hope for is someone like, maybe she's a philanthropist.
Chelsea, you don't have to do this. You don't have to turn yourself into a punchline. You don't have to turn all your feelings into jokes.
And I don't want to shit on hot girls either, whatever, that's cool, you're beautiful, great. And there's actually amazing things that they're doing right now online, like a lot of super beautiful girls, they'll put a picture of their face online, but they'll scrunch up their face and they'll stick their tongue out like, ah, you know? And I'm always just so floored by their realness. So inspiring to be so vulnerable with society. There's also a very powerful movement going on right now on the internet that, you know, women are kind of, you know, coalition building in a very cool way. I'm talking about the hashtag NoMakeup. You can search it if you don't believe me, but some brave women are mustering up all their courage and they will post a photo onto the internet in which they are wearing no makeup whatsoever. I'm serious. Okay, but when they post the photos, they'll always make a big announcement in the caption. They'll be like,
in the following photograph, I, Cassandra, am not wearing any makeup.
And then the whole internet is like, oh, good lady. Your bravery is unparalleled. Oh, we thank you, Cassandra. Please check your DMs. It just annoys me too because in the no makeup photos, they never fully look shitty. You know, like they're always still in the splits in a bikini or something, like no makeup. It's like partial credit. And then the guys fall for it every time. It's a thirst trap. It's a trick. And there's always some guy riding into the comments on a horse like he's the Lone Ranger. He's like, ooh, 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 ooh. He tips his leather hat. He's like, dear Cassandra, I actually think you look better without makeup.
Cassandra's like, thank you. Mission accomplished. Thank you.
If you really want to piss off a really hot girl, like a model hot girl, go into her social media, find a photo where she just looks smoking hot. And you're just a regular girl, go into her comments and just be like, people say I look just like you. She'll be like, no! Do you know that women Botox their armpits? Like, this is an actual thing. It's not to make them look youthful, you know. Like, hey, everyone, same old me. It's actually to stop them from sweating, because why would you, you know, as a human? But the reason I know about it is I met a girl who did it, and she was like, it worked. Like, I did stop sweating out of my armpits, but I started sweating out of my butthole. It's like, is that a good trade? Like, kind of a deal with the devil. Then I'm imagining the guy that sees her out somewhere and is just like, oh. He's like, oh. He's like, she is so fucking hot. Her armpits are bone fucking dry. Just like I always dreamed of. Then he's like, whoa. That's him slipping on her butt sweat. Whoa. He's like, I'm so drawn to you, but I can't get near you. This is a whole new kind of juicy booty. He's a surfer. That's his profession. Why just because you go onto the ocean on a thingy do you have a dialect? Like, why just because you have an athletic skill set do you laugh like, raw? It's like, just stop making such a tight circle with your mouth and then more laugh sounds could get out.
My favorite female comedian, Chelsea.
Thank you. Women lie about their age. That's very complicated, actually. If you think about it, lying about your age, it's like, you have to remember a different birthday, which would already be impossible for me. You have to remember the music that was popular at a time just before or after you were listening to it. I don't even know the direction. You know what I mean? Like, I would always mess it up just like, I love to sock hop. I mean, Tyler, the Creator. I don't know, I'm old. Just give up. Like, again, I feel like if you're gonna create this whole alternate reality, do something cool with it. Like, walk into a cafe by your house and just be like, huh. My God. I haven't been here in 128 years. Ain't nothing changed. Oh my God. Your friends are like, what? How fucking old are you? And then you get to be like, Do you guys think it's worse to wear a fedora or kill 15 people? Be honest.
I was dreaming when I wrote this. Forgive me if it goes astray. But when I woke up this morning, could have sworn it was Judgment Day. Sky was all purple, there were people running everywhere. And this is the bar of the whole song. Prince say, trying to run from my destruction, you know I didn't even care. Good people of Atlanta, we must never forget that Anthony Bourdain killed himself. Anthony Bourdain had the greatest job that show business ever produced. This nigga flew around the world and ate delicious meals with outstanding people. That man, with that job, hung himself in a luxury suite in France. They say 2000 party over, oops, out of time. So tonight I'm gonna party like it's 1999. I knew a nigga in high school that was an urban genius. This motherfucker's grades was so good, he got all the way from the hood to an Ivy League school with a full scholarship. From there, the motherfucker got himself into one of the best law schools in the country. And when he was in law school, he met a woman, and they fell in love, and they were gonna get married. I remember him telling me about it. He was home for Christmas, and I told him, I said, my man, save that bitch for later in your life. But he's in love. He didn't listen to me. He married her while he was in law school. And sadly, they got divorced while he was in law school. He was a street nigga from the hood. His man had nothing. And that bitch took half of that. And then I just never saw him again for years. And then 2 years ago, I was home in DC doing some shopping, trying to buy my sons some socks at Foot Locker. I go to Foot Locker, guess who's the manager? That nigga. Dressed like a referee, the whole shit. This motherfucker is 45 years old. We went out drinking that night, just trying to catch up, and he told me, he said he's been living with his mother for like 10 years, just trying to get back on his feet. But that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is, never occurred to this nigga to kill himself. He's alive and well in DC. I even suggested to him that he should try it out. Like, I don't know, nigga, he might, Nobody's life is perfect. No matter what it looks like from the outside, you don't know what the fuck's going on inside. I have a great life, but it's not a perfect life. But it's good. My shit's like an above ground pool. You ever seen one of them? Yeah, it's a pool. So in that spirit, tonight, I thought I'd start my show a little differently. Tonight, I'm gonna do something that I'm not particularly good at, but that I like to do. Tonight, I'm gonna try some impressions out. only got 2. All right, the first impression's kind of dumb, but I like it. This is my impression. You ready? This is my impression of the founding fathers of America when the Constitution was being written. You ready? Here it goes. Hurry up and finish that Constitution, nigger. I'm trying to get some sleep. It's not bad, right? All right, the next one. The next one's a little harder. I want to see if you can guess who it is I'm doing an impression of. All right, let me get into character. You gotta guess who it is, though. Okay, here it goes. Hey, if you do anything wrong in your life, and I find out about it, I'm gonna try to take everything away from you. And I don't care when I find out. Could be today, tomorrow, 15, 20 years from now. If I find out, you're fucking finished. Who's that? That's you. That's what the audience sounds like to me. That's why I don't be coming out doing comedy all the time, because y'all niggas is the worst motherfuckers I've ever tried to entertain in my fucking life. Oh. I'm goddamn sick of it. This is the worst time ever to be a celebrity. You're gonna be finished. Everyone's doomed.
Hey, remember that music we got from the end of Family Guy? So get that ready. And here's a guy that just knows how to tease an audience. You're gonna have. Is that going to come right in? Yeah. And really loud. Bring the volume up on it. I got to ask you a question, Jen Kirkman. Did you ever fuck that Colin Quinn? We'll take a break and we'll find out. So the word out on you in the street is that you like to go to college fraternity parties, then you meet the young girls, and then you end up having sex with them, and you steal all the money out of their wallet. And we'll get your answer when we come back. He acts all friendly during the break.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you got to do that part.
How's your mom?
The best part during the break is that you know you're about to come back from this song, and he's looking at you during the music, smiling. Yeah. Like you're like, no, I'm not smiling. I'm shitting in my pants. It doesn't have to be that bit. That's just I'm saying that's one thing you could do with that music, but it's just as funny to go. So anyway, I didn't know what to do, but the dog had pants on, and we'll take a break.
Do you remember how when you would?
Is this about this bit?
It's about radio.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you remember how when you would first?
Can you use this music?
Yeah,
in it?
sure.
Okay.
Remember how when you would first do radio, you'd get nervous. You'd think it would have to make sense, and it was like, I got to make sure he asks me this or whatever. And now it just doesn't matter at all. Like he could literally ask you, where are you from? And
here's all they want. They just want you to fill up. No, well, not good stations. I know what I don't feel this about.
Jokes, but
I don't feel this about radio stations. You know where I feel about it? That it's the easiest. Not radio stations, because there's some really good ones, and you can go on there and talk about stuff, and it's fun. It's really fun. But when you do the morning TV, if that's not an example, like just all you have to do is be loud, and they're happy. That you're doing because they're over there, Steve with the weather, and there Judy in the kitchen, and then you come on. If you don't have material, I just look around. I go, how many people work here?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Like, and they're like, this guy's a loose cannon.
you get up at 5:30 in the morning. I mean, I'm up from the night before.
Yeah.
Just yelling shit.
Yeah, and they go, and I'm sitting there going, Jesus, come on! I don't want to look at myself in the monitor. I look old. You're just
no one ever references the monitor
Wait,
ever
what's in
over
this mug?
there.
Is there coffee or alcohol?
Yeah, what are you guys over here?
You two crazy animals. What are you up to last night?
You guys fuck or what? And then that's when they go. Boop. I did that a couple of times.
All right. Well, listen, we had fun.
You guys want to get out of here? That's how I.
With that music. Say that again. You guys want to get out of here?
You guys want to get out of here?
This isn't funny until we do it a lot more. 8:45, 8:45. When we come back, we're going to have Hotshot Terry Parker here from the new show. It's Sideways in Florida. We'll be right back.
Hey, we're here with Todd Glass. He's at the Funny Bone this weekend. Hey, Todd, I heard you got arrested for molesting a boy in Reno last month. We'll be right back.
Oh, Jesus.
Kiss 108 FM. We have two guys here. Last night they tied me up in the back of the van and put their dildos inside my mouth and then inside my pussy. That wasn't good.
It was so funny.
Yeah, we were with Todd Glass. Now, Todd and I went out last night, went in halvesies on a hooker. We'll talk about that when we come back.
There's a broomstick in her ass.
Wait, I want to do one more. This is Sheila Sirens. This is Doing It 101 Oldies. Wait, hang on. Stop. Edit. Wait. This is Sheila Siren. This is Oldies 103. We are doing it tonight. Just have to say one thing. I cut my husband's head off last night with a knife. I really didn't love him that much, but I also don't want to be convicted of murder. I said it. Maybe you'll think I'm joking, and we'll be right back.
Hey, we're here with Todd Glass, comedian Todd Glass. Hey, Todd, I don't know if you know this, but you might be adopted. We're on the phone with your parents right after this.
Oh, my God. All right.
This is Terry Jones from Indy 107.1. I just had an AIDS test. The results will be back later. It's not good.
It's not good.
I'm the worst DJ.
How about that?
We got time to talk for a second. We got a good jingle we're going to play. We'll be right back. Here's our jingle. I got 5 suits breathing down my back. They say people love this jingle, and that's why they listen to our show. So we'll take a break.
This guy with a German accent just called, asked me to clean his house. I feel weird about it. He wants me to wear a maid's uniform. I heard he chases people around, but let's see what happens. That makes no sense. Delete that. Delete it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the program director here at KSU. We're having a difficulty. We've been trying to hide it between a bit. One of our jingles will not stop playing. We've had our online personalities try to work it into some of their conversation, and we put them in an awkward situation. And if you were looking at the TV set saying, what are they talking about? It just doesn't make sense.
Newt Gingrich 2012 or whoever you like.
We have a problem with one of our jingles that is non-stop playing.
Ron Paul accidentally passed away last night.
Right now, we are desperately working with our technicians. We apologize if you're tuning in right now, hearing that jingle over and over again. We know it can be mind-maddening. This is something that was, it's just it's putting us in a situation. We would ask you please to turn your radio off, because here's what happens. You are listening in a morbid curiosity fashion, but eventually this will be bad for you. I think as a reasonable adult, you should move away from the radio. But what happens is you get into a trance where you just can't stop listening, and we need to ask you, as tempting it is to keep listening to this and see how long it's going to play, we're asking you to please turn your radio off. We are begging you to do that. People all over the world right now are getting putting them in a situation where people are getting into a coma-like state and going into the streets with this song in their head, and they are killing people. We need to, you have your wits about you and you can hear me, and I know you're thinking maybe he's right and you're getting a little numb right now, but now you're like, how many times are they going to play this? We're asking you, you have your senses. You're able to please shut this off. We are asking once again not to listen in a morbid curiosity fashion. This music is very dangerous. Nothing's been more dangerous than the Benny Hill music that was played 17,000 times last year at a mall. I don't know where the bit's going.
Oh, that was so good. Oh shit, I gotta go.
Oh my god, Jen, seriously?
I'm sorry, now I have a panic response to this.
Why are you chasing me?
No, I'm not. It's Pavlovian. I'm sorry.
Wouldn't it be funny if we all ran around?
The abused becomes the abuser. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to chase you and put you in an oven. I was in the Holocaust. Okay, I won't bring it up again.
I gotta tell you something.
What?
We have to wrap it up. This was the most fun I ever had.
Because that's what you do. Most of your life is mundane. So I had to write a book, right? So it was a book about my life. So they said, just write about your life. So I said, oh, thank you, yeah. It turned out to be the greatest comic novel ever written, but when it started, it was supposed to be a memoir, an autobiography. So it makes you think about, what is my life? So I started thinking about it, right? So I said, okay, I wake up in the morning, and I eat some Count Chocula. And then I watch Sports Center while I'm digesting my Count Chocula, and I phone my friend, Fat Freddy. And I go, hey, you want to eat a cheese sandwich or something around 3 o'clock? I got to wait for my Count Chocula to digest, but how'd that settle with you? He goes, yeah, great. So I get together with him. And on my way, I get some groceries to bring home for later. And then, of course, there's dinner, you know? So most of my life is finding and consuming food. So it doesn't make for a riveting read. It's incredibly repetitious. When you're writing, you learn a lot of that. I went to a guy who was a big writer guy. He told me about things I didn't know about. Metaphors. You ever hear of them? He said, you got to use metaphors. I'm like, what's that? He's like, that's a thing. So a metaphor is like, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? So he's like, that means you can take a person, you know, and you can give him all the information and everything, but he still has to be the one to absorb it himself. So I was like, well, why the fuck didn't you just say that? Like, what? Why do you have to put a horse into it? Like, what? You thought I was so stupid you needed to make it into some fable? Like, what? A horse? Or sometimes the metaphor part of it is true, but then the literal part is not true. Like they'll go like, that which does not kill you makes you stronger, right? Now, metaphorically, that's true. Like maybe a woman breaks your heart, you know, or life deals you a bad hand. And then the next time you're prepared for it and it doesn't hurt you as much. But literally, it's not true at all. Literally, it's that which does not kill you makes you weaker. And will probably kill you the next time it shows up. That's why I like the ones where the metaphor is true and the literal part is true. Like, they say like beauty is only skin deep. I think that's beautiful because it is like, you know, really what makes a person attractive is what's inside, their friendship, their conviviality, their goodwill, not this optic trick, you know? And so it has that. But also literally it's true because you could be, you know, the handsomest guy in the world, you know? You'd have like this chiseled jaw and beautiful thick mane of a hair, you know? Large shoulders and narrow waist. You guys horny? Is it just me or? Giant quads, a perfect body, 6% body fat, you know? But you take that same guy and you skin him. All of a sudden, he is not so easy on the eye. Getting old, you know. I asked my doctor, this is interesting, because I wondered, you know, I know the first two causes of death, heart disease and cancer, neck and neck, you know, to kill you. So I said to the doctor, I said, what's the third most common cause of death? What is the third? And he said, complications. I was like, that's like the doctor fucking up. Like, how is that the third? That's the third? You know, you go, hey, doc, I can't help but noticing my father is dead. And I remember yesterday you said it was a simple operation. And he's like, yeah, we thought it was. It looks simple in the book, I'll tell you that. But you cut open a man, by God, it's all this red stringy stuff and everything. Are you a doctor? You go, no, you wouldn't have. Way too complicated for you.
I remember one time I was with a friend of mine who lives in New York also. We went to pick up his cousin. She lived on a farm in New Hampshire her whole life. Her family was this weird family that kept their kids on a farm. Anyway, her parents finally died, so she got to leave. And so she came down to visit her cousin, my friend, in the city. And so we picked her up at Port Authority bus station. She had never been to any city before, and we're picking her up at the Port Authority, that smelly hole of a place. And we pick her up there, and she's just freaking out at New York. She's never seen anything like it. And we pass this homeless guy, and she sees him. I mean, we all passed him, but she saw him. She's the only one who actually saw him. We didn't. Me and her cousin were like, so he's supposed to be there. So there's a perfectly good reason why that's not me and it's him. It's all the right people always win. I'm sure of it. But so there he is, and this dude was particularly homeless. He was one of those high-octane homeless, smelly, just piss smell. The unbelievable piss smell. So he was piss. He didn't just smell like piss. He was. When you piss, he comes out. That's how much. It's just this dude with garbage all over him. I don't know if he had gathered it for warmth, or folks just went ugh all day. And he had dreadlocks. Not hacky sack, cool guy, medical marijuana dreadlocks. Just human neglect clumps of hair. A clump of hair for every year that no one knew his name or cared. Yeah, that's who you've been laughing at for the last 10 minutes. That's how bad it was. And again, me and my friend were just like, meh. His cousin immediately just she's like, oh my God, she takes a knee. That's how, I mean, I'm not even taking a real knee now. That's how little I give a shit about the guy. He's not even here and I'm still like, yeah, it's close enough. She goes, oh my God, sir, are you okay? What happened? What happened? America happened. What do you mean, what happened? So she's down there, sir, can we call someone? And me and my friend, we're from New York, this is the crazy part. We immediately go to her, oh, no, honey, don't, We start correcting her behavior like she's doing something wrong. She's like, why, is he okay? No, he needs you desperately. That's not the point. We just don't do that here. You go, silly country girl.
Hey, birthday girl, are you married, sweetie?
Yes.
You are? How long?
10 years in April.
10? Jesus Christ, you got married at 21, huh?
It's pretty young.
That's cool. Is it going? I'm not trying to make fun of you. Is it going okay?
It's fucking awesome.
Oh, it's good. It's good. Does anybody else have a problem with commitment like me? Anybody else? Listen, you never have to raise your hand anymore. But anytime I ask that kind of question, like, anybody else think they might be an alcoholic? Anyone have problems with commitment? Anybody ever had an AIDS scare? I'm just going to assume that your hand should be up for those questions. You're not surprised to me you don't have to answer. When I start asking questions like, who graduated from anything, any school ever? That's when you shoot the hand up and I go, oh shit, okay. Awesome. I got it now. Awesome. Who can afford their own cell phone bill? Then you go, okay. I wasn't sure. This guy's still on his fucking phone. Jesus Christ. Who are you texting? Talk to me about it. Talk to me about it. Who are you texting? Just talk to me about it. Your mother?
Grandma.
It's not your. No, it's not. Nobody. Guys, trust me. I'm funnier than everybody in this room. Don't try to. Jason, this is going to be the album. This is it. It's going to be called "What the Fuck Happened." Who? Seriously, I'm asking you. I'm not trying to scold you. I'm really. What? What are you pointing at? What's that? My mom?
Your mom.
You're texting my mom? Yeah? No, were you? Yeah, really? You're just kidding? Oh, I didn't fucking know. You're just kidding. Oh my God. And it was such a brilliant joke, too. Oh, God. Let's just analyze what just happened. He actually went for the your mom joke. Let's just start with that. How shut off is your brain from any sort of entertainment or cultural feed? Anything artistic hasn't gotten in there in how long that you actually thought the your mom joke was still like a thing? Or like funny in any way? You didn't even do it in a funny way. You didn't even do the whole, I'm texting your mom because her belt size is equator because she's fat or whatever, or like slip some fucking slam in there. You just literally thought your mom would carry. And did you hear the fucking deafening silence after you said it? How void of humor it was. Don't clap for yourself. You need to learn a lesson right now. How clamped off is this head of yours from letting anything interesting in that you thought that your mom thing was funny? So that's first you did that. Then I go, you're talking about my mom? And then you what you wanted me to do was go, oh shit, man. Oh, you got me, man. Oh shit. You wanted me to do that or go, my mom, well your mom, and some dumb fucking mom joke back at you that I can't even do because it's so bad. But then, so when you bombed, congratulations. That's what a bomb feels like. When you bombed, and you went, I'm just kidding, dude. Why would you say I'm just kidding? Only for two reasons. Number one, I think you're so dumb that you really thought I was texting your mom. I want you to know, dude, that I wouldn't do that for real, man. I wouldn't text your mom like that, dude. And if I did, I wouldn't do it in front of you. How fucked up is that? I'm sorry, dude. I was totally joking, man. I was out of line with the your mom thing. You know, I go too far with my jokes sometimes. I'm the edgy guy. I really push the envelope. You know what I mean? I'm a big 9/11 joke kind of guy. I do 9/11 jokes, and I do black jokes a lot. You know, I'm real edgy. I do racial stuff, and then your mom stuff too. You know, I'm that guy. That's the first reason that you would say I'm sorry, because you thought I was kidding. The other reason is that you think that maybe I was going to fight you over your mom, which I don't know who does that past 11. But I don't want to fight you because I know you obviously don't know my. Do you see how you're still texting while I'm talking to you? This is why your jokes suck. Because when people try to teach you things, you look at your phone, and you're probably texting right now. The fucking comedian at the show is making fun of me right now. He's making fun of me right now, dude. Now, like now. Now, no, right now. Hope your phone gives you AIDS. Anyway.
I watched it tonight.
Right.
Before you came on. I watched the broadcast version. Oh, by the way, the broadcast version, it aired on Comedy Central at midnight once. And
no, twice.
It just recently aired.
Yeah.
Just recently aired again.
Excited about
but they did not change the description in the guide, you know, the program guide, where it says that the comedian discusses the pros and cons of neighbors. Like that's all that this is about. Is just whether or not, like, what's good about having neighbors? Also, by the way, I don't think I ever discussed the pros. I think I only discussed the cons.
Yeah. Well, you discussed not being,
not wanting to have neighbors,
and not being a misanthrope. Not being
yes.
Absent from the family of man.
Yeah.
Or some.
But this is, you know, like this. I'm not trying to say that this overinflate this material into some light. You know, it's going to blow your mind and alter your world. But it's like there's some stuff in here that's kind of personal, and I explore some big personal issues in this. And to boil it all down to pros and cons of neighbors.
If there was like a very surface topical way or one nugget of like sort of just surface comedian stuff in there, that would be it.
Surface comedian. Yes,
Just
exactly,
like, you know,
exactly.
There's stuff like this and there's stuff like that.
But you know what else? What dawned on me?
Everything else in the special starts with I.
Yes, exactly. What dawned on me while I was watching it earlier tonight is that that's the first bit on there, and I think that's all that they watched to get an idea of like, what's he talking about? Neighbors. He talks about neighbors. I would rather the description be the comedian opts to use a microphone to amplify his voice.
Tompkins, is that the guy that does the neighbor stuff?
Neighbors! That's what everybody was chanting.
He had that special about neighbors.
That's what a lot of the signs said on that Sunday night. Do neighbors! Pros and cons! All right, folks, there's no easy way into this one. This is some heavy stuff. Part of growing up means that you're going to start to lose your parents. And you're going to lose both of them. It's not like you lose the one and the other one just mysteriously lives forever. And a couple years ago, my mom died. Now, I think she died. The rest of my family says she went to some big farm upstate where she can run around and play with all the other moms. But I'm not stupid. Losing a parent is the World Series of sadness. It's like you cry so much you can't even believe it. You think something has gone wrong with the structure of your eyeballs, right? Like, I have broken the tap, and now I'm just gonna wander around with leaky Katharine Hepburn eyes for the rest of my life. It's a fun reference if you get it, right? That's not bad. But as with any intense sadness like that, there's always unexpected, hilarious things that happen that become the most hilarious because they're in stark contrast to the sadness. Like, my mother decreed that she wanted a very small viewing. She didn't want any kind of service when she died. She wanted it to be just our immediate family. Me, my brothers and sisters, and my dad. That was it. So it's a small group of people. So we all gather, and then we realize my older brother is late to the viewing of our dead mother. And if you think we ever let him hear the end of that, then you need to go back to thinking school and take some extension courses. It is a source of joy to this day. When we realized he was getting late, we're like, oh, let's get our material ready. By the time he got there, we let him have it so hard. Hey there, buddy, what happened? Some errands got away from you? Try to squeeze in some stuff before you got to Mom's viewing? Yeah, I understand. Maybe next time Mom dies, right? Now you know the traffic patterns this time of day. It was almost worth my mother dying. Almost. So we go from the viewing to the grave, and the grave, they really should come up with some rules for what happens there, because we're just standing around there. There's the casket and there's the hole, and I know that everybody is thinking, please, somebody be the first person to say, let's get out of here. Because nobody wants to be the wildly disrespectful person that says, all right, should we go? Oh, we're at Mom's grave hole. You're a monster. And as we're standing there, I'm looking around and I realize, oh, I'm never coming back here again. Why would I ever come to this spot? I think that's a thing we get from movies, the visiting the grave and talking to the loved one, you know? Which I don't understand. Like, if you believe that the person who has died can hear you, why don't you just stay at home and talk to them? You know what I mean? Why do you have to travel to the cemetery, a horrible place to be, and then stand there staring at the gravestone, talking to it? Is the gravestone an antenna of some sort? Is that what enables the person to hear you? Or are they trapped in there? They're just trapped in there. They can hear you, but that is it, man. They're stuck in that box. Let me tell you something. If that is the case, your showing up there and visiting is not helping, right? That's not making it any better. Hey there, hi, it's me again. As always, I am sorry that you were trapped in that box for all eternity, but let me tell you about my day. The dry cleaners are at it again. I don't know what they don't understand about fluff and fold. So then we go from the grave to the wake at my parents' house. And I completely forgot that in the paper, they print this thing that is called the obituary, which essentially says, hey, if you want to see a bunch of sad people, I know where they're at. So the obituary says, the family will be receiving people at 1 p.m. And 1 p.m. on the dot, people started pouring in. I don't know why people felt the need to be so punctual. Like we were going to be sitting around there like, I guess nobody's coming. Oh, well. Don't eat that chips. Maybe people are still coming. So people start pouring in. And it's weird because it's people I haven't seen in decades, like old friends of my parents or people that used to babysit me or whatever, and they looked like themselves but different. And it was horrible, just like, ugh, the middle part of your face is familiar, but it's surrounded by unrecognizable, you weird monster, get away. Now, I had told myself that morning, you know what? I'm not going to drink today. I am just going to be present for this experience. And maybe later on, after everybody's gone, I'll have a simple glass of wine and just think about Mom and reflect on her life. Well, these people start pouring in, and I turned to my sister and said, this is horrible! And I went and hid, like literally hid from people. And after a little bit, I realized that it was time to drink, and I realized that I did not know when it would be time to stop. So I go down in the kitchen, and I get myself a glass and a bottle of whiskey. And after 3 glasses, I dropped the pretense of putting the bottle back down on the table. I just held on to it and kept giving myself a top off. So I had some friends of mine who were comics, and they knew my mom. And so we're all talking about stuff, and we're joking around. It's a lot of gallows humor and everything. And we were trying to decide what would be the worst thing that you could say to somebody at a funeral if they come up to you and say, I'm so sorry about your mother. Because that's a thing that happens, is people come up to you all day long and say, I'm so sorry about your mom. And you realize instinctively you have to give them a sincere moment, and you have to act sort of like it's the first time that somebody has said it, It's like you become a politician all of a sudden. So sorry about your mom. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you saying that. It's people like you that make funerals like this so great. So we're trying to think, what's the worst thing you could say? I'm so sorry about your mom. We finally decided it would be, not as sorry as I am, right? Just imagine how hideous that would be. You go to a funeral, this guy's mom has died, you walk up to him and say, I'm so sorry about your mother, and he says, not as sorry as I am. That is breaking the code. So we're laughing about this, the laughter dies down, then the next guy to come in the room is a friend of my little brother's that I have not seen since he was a child, right? Now he's a man. And he comes up to me, and I said, hey, Ed. And he said, it's Frank. Oh. Then he shakes my hand, and he says, hey, I'm sorry about your mom. And there was a half a second where I thought, am I going to do this? And then in the remaining half a second, I realized, I am going to do this. So shaking his hand, I look him right in the eye and I say, not as sorry as I am. And then all my friends cracked up. And this poor guy was just, It's terrible. I just pictured him later, at his next destination. Hey, did you go to that funeral? Yeah. First, Paul called me by the wrong name. Okay, he's going through something, I get it. Then I say, I'm so sorry about your mom. He goes, not as sorry as I am, and all his friends started laughing. I give that funeral a 3 at best. So my mom was pretty sick. She was an elderly woman. She was in her late 70s, and she had a host of medical problems. She was on dialysis. She had this blood thing. She had all kinds of problems, so much so that we are not quite sure what finally was the thing that killed her, right? My dad was getting a haircut for the funeral, And the barber asked him, "Oh, how did your wife die?" And my dad turned to me and said, "You want to help me with this one?" It could have been anything. I think in the end, at the hospital, they just threw a dart at the chart, right? Like, let's call it that. Let's just call it that. So she had talked with her doctor about her quality of life because she was in and out of hospitals all the time, and it was like getting more and more frequent, the hospital visits. And like the forecast was not great. Like it was just going to get worse and worse. So she finally decided to go off dialysis and then just let nature take its course. So it was like a big, huge decision, and it's heavy stuff, man. And I was with her in the ambulance ride from the hospital to the hospice. And I'm holding her hand, and we're making the chit-chat that you do in that situation. And at one point, she says to me, "So have you figured out what you want to do with the rest of your life?" Now look, my mother has never been able to fully grasp my career, right? It's outside of her realm of experience. Show business, how does it work? She does not know, right? She didn't understand there's like a whole middle part where you can make a really nice living and enjoy your life and everything. And there's no way I could ever make her understand that. So at this time, at this point, still, she's doing this. You figured out what you want to do with the rest of your life, and I just go, "Well, I'm doing it, Mom. Everything's good, so you don't have to worry." I don't want to get testy with her because I feel like it would be bad form. So I think, well, that'll be that, same as it always has been for my entire 20 years in show business. And then she goes, what's the plan here? And I'm like, oh boy. Everything's going according to plan, Mom. You got nothing to worry about? I am A-okay. So rest easy. Bad choice of words. Take it easy. Take it light. I don't know what to say to you, lady. You are really pushing my buttons. So she just goes, okay. And I'm like, oh no, this is not over. I'm stewing on this for a couple days because I realize I gotta make this lady understand that I have a good life. It's for her. I'm doing this for her so that she knows I'm happy. So there's one day, we're visiting every day, and there's one day where I just let the rest of my family go, and I kind of stay behind. And so I'm sitting on the end of the bed with her, and I'm about to have like a heart-to-heart with her. And at that moment, my brother-in-law comes into the room. I guess he got off late from work, so he missed visiting time. And he just says, "Hey, how you doing?" He walks in, sits down, starts reading the paper. I understand there is not any sort of etiquette that is in place for this particular situation, but I tell you what, if you see a guy talking to his dying mother alone in a room, here's what you probably don't do. Plop down in a chair, open up the paper, and say, "You know what? I think today I'm going to start with the sports and work my way back to the headlines." So now I have to have this really hushed conversation with my mother and convey everything that I'm trying to convey. And so I'm going, "Mom, I just want you to know that my life is good, and I'm doing what I want to do for a living, and I do the thing that I love and get paid for it, and I couldn't be happier, and I wouldn't be able to do that if you had not given me the life that you gave me that enabled me to do such a thing and pursue my dreams. So I want you to know that everything is good." And she said to me, "Well, I understand that you know more about it than I do." And I just felt like, I'll take it! If that is as close as you are ever going to get to understanding that I am not wasting my life, then I am out of here like Steve Martin. So I would relay this story to people, and then a lot of people would have this reaction. They would say, well, you know what? She's looking down on you right now, and she's very proud of you. The only problem with that scenario is that my mother was an atheist, so at best, she's looking up at me. You know what I mean? Yeah, I understand there's strict rules about those sorts of things. But it doesn't work the other way because I'm an atheist too, and I feel like I can't base an entire belief system on making sure that my mom knows I'm not a failure, right? That seems shabby. If someone were to ask me, "Do you think there's an afterlife?" "Oh, I know there is for one person."
I know there's one special lady that's up somewhere, and she's looking down on one special guy, and she knows that he is great. So that's what I believe. That seems poor. My mother came to atheism late in life. She was 76 years old after being a devout Catholic all her life, went to Mass every Sunday. Out of nowhere, 76 years old, she calls me and my brothers and sisters together, and she says, I just want you all to know that I'm an atheist now. Boing. What? Old lady, what do you think you're doing? You're supposed to be going the other way as you get closer to the grave, seeking comfort in the arms of our Lord Jesus Christ. Not this gal. She had it. So I asked her, Mom, what happened? And she said she'd been thinking about the Iraq War, and she was trying to come up with the reason that God had for the Iraq War, because she was brought up to believe that God had a reason for everything. And she couldn't come up with what that reason would be, and she wasn't content to just say, it's not for me to understand. And then she thought, well, maybe it doesn't work that way. And things started to just kind of unravel for her, and it made less and less sense until one day she woke up, and this is a direct quote. She said, one day I woke up and I realized it was all just shit. Oh, very, very eloquently put, Mother dear. You certainly put a cork in that issue for all time. Thanks for the 12 years of Catholic school, by the way. I have zero issues. Could not be more well-adjusted. So crazy. But I think that's what happens if you're raised Catholic. You go one of two ways, right? You are either in it to win it, or your faith erodes so gradually you're not even aware of it. And so years and years go by, and then one day you wake up and say, hey, what happened to all that crazy junk I used to believe in? Boy, I sure like having my Sundays back. And it's like, it's a tough thing to figure out, you know, it's a very personal thing, and I think that people go through a journey with it by and large. And I know, you know, when I got out of the house, you know, when I moved out of my parents' house and I got out in the world, I had been a Catholic all my life, went to Mass every Sunday. And then when I learned more about different religions and the absence of religion, you know, I became an atheist, you know, and I was like one of those young, new atheists where I would go up to people and say, what do you believe is a fairy tale? But they didn't ask me. Right? But I couldn't help it because I was filled with the fire of nothing. And then after that, I was an agnostic, which meant that I was afraid to be an atheist because God would be mad at me. But I never brought myself to say that I was spiritual, because that word spiritual to me I always had an image of people that would say things like, well, I have a concept of God, sure, but it's not some old man with a long white beard who sits on a cloud. Well, that's no one's concept of God, you condescending creep, so stop saying that. There's no religion in the world that says, oh, God, yeah, he's an old man, he's got a long white beard, and he sits on a cloud. And if you catch him, he's got to give you all his gold. Now, there was a weird thing with this experience. My mom telling me she was an atheist, I got kind of weirded out by it, because if you are raised by religious parents, even if you stop being religious, you sort of feel like your parents are being religious for you. Like they've got that all taken care of. So it's fine for me to go, no, when you die, there's just a black void. Well, my mother believes in heaven, and that's where she will go because she's a nice lady, but there is nothing out there. So when she goes to heaven, she'll probably put in a word for me, and then we'll be reunited. But no, there's no such place. So my mom saying there was no heaven, that meant that it was true. And I got really freaked out where I almost wanted to talk her back into believing again. You're like, are you sure you got this all figured out, Mom? I mean, people have been debating this for thousands of years. You're just one lady, right? Come on, help me out here, Mommy. But then when she died, it just cemented it for me. And I felt like, no, I think that you get a certain amount of time on this earth. And then when you're done, and that's it. And I think I believe pretty much what everybody believes. You know, enjoy your life. Understand what is truly important and what you should take seriously, and be nice to people. Be nice to each other and help each other out when you can. But when I die, if there is a heaven, and I get to go to it, and I meet God, I think I would say two things. First, I would say, well, this is awkward. And then I would say, sorry I didn't believe in you. And then if God is a God of love, as I imagine a God would be, I would expect him to say, I don't blame you. It's ridiculous. You kidding me? I'm surprised anybody believed it. Look, I'm an old man with a long white beard sitting on a cloud. Now get in here and try to catch me. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for me. Thank you very much. Thank you all.